What am I hearing? Football! Holy cow! It's here. You know how you're waiting for, like, a package that somebody's sending you? You know, you're just waiting every day. 2 months out, you're like, it'll be here, man. September 9th. It's supposed to get here. And then when it gets here, you're like, yeah, baby. Tonight, NFL football. Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys, live from Raymond James, the side of last year's Super Bowl. Can it get any better than that? Just cannot get any better than that, man. By the way, our conversation with Bruce Arians is blowing up, and we really appreciate everybody at JAKIB with TikTok. We got a great video on that thing out. We've got it on the website, too. Please go back. Bruce Arians, he previews tonight's Buccaneers-Cowboy game. So you got to listen to what Bruce says about the boys, about his football team. So we're really looking forward to this game tonight. We can't wait. All right. I got to start this out, and this is going to be maybe a little bit more isolated towards like Eagle guy and an NFL guy, I would say. So if you go over to my Twitter page, I got into a back and forth with Terrell Owens. Now, will somebody help me out here? I don't know, Krause. Maybe you could tell me, or somebody could tell me. When was the last time the T.O. played with the Philadelphia Eagles? Can somebody tell me that? When's the last time he was an Eagle? When's the last time he was an Eagle? So there was a story. There was a story out there, I guess, that he did Shannon Sharp's podcast. And now he wants to fight Donovan McNabb. By the way, Muhammad, welcome aboard. We'll preview tonight's Cowboy game. And I guess he said something that, you know, this McNabb and T.O. thing is so old. Smile. Hey, smile. Yeah, we got a nice back and forth on my Twitter, too. And, of course, he got his panties in a bind. And I said this to him, man, why don't you grow the hell up? Nobody cares about a story that's 20 years old. Nobody cares about you. And certainly that story, now he wants to fight Donovan McNabb. I mean, Hoss, you're in your 50s now. Let it go, man. You see, I'm going to make a point to you here. Terrell Owens is defined as a football player, not a man. He's just a football player. He's nothing more than that. Those are the biggest frauds of all time. When people are defined by one thing. I'm not defined by my sports career. I'm not defined by my broadcasting career. I'm defined by the type of husband and father I am on a day-to-day basis. That's how I'm defined. My testament will be how I treat my kids, how I treat my animals, how I treat the people that are around me. Who cares about the broadcasting? Who cares about the sports? End of the day, if somebody went like this, Sileo was a great broadcaster. I'd rather have somebody say, man, he really was a great dad. That's the ultimate compliment. The ultimate compliment for a man is, hey, guess what? You were a great dad. Not the fact, whoa, man, that guy could catch in routes, and I can't believe what a tackler I mean, that's so lame. And that's where I was going with Terrell Owens. He's so much bigger than that, I thought. But he's a little man, too. When you're defined by that crap like that, that just tells me all I need to know about people. When you're 20 years removed, and by the way, the stuff that I post on my Twitter page, I do that because I'm trying to promote my show. I'm trying to promote this show. I'm trying to promote some of the other things, the new TikTok thing. I love it on what JAKIB did on the previewing of the show. So when I post that stuff, I learned a lesson from The Rock. The Rock showed me, goes, hey, man, post anything you can that helps promote your show or shows. I do it all the time. That's what he uses his social media for. And then he throws some of his family stuff out there. That's what I do. I'm taking cues from him. He's helping me with it. That's why I've gotten so much better at it, actually. I don't get into back and forth with eggheads or nobody's on Twitter. So let me ask this. Do people in Philadelphia care about that story anymore? Terrell Owens and Donovan, do you guys care about that? Is it the new story? Howie Roseman's on the hot seat? He's got to be. He fired everybody else in the building. This has got to be on him. Am I right when I say that? Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb? Really? I can't believe Philly fan would even care for that or even remotely be interested in that. And so when I saw that story, I'm like, dude, grow up. Get something new. This guy's got 1.3 million followers. Okay? He's got 1.3 million followers. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, can't you do anything better with that than to sit around and worry about whether or not somebody's barking at you? I was like, dude, man, really? Got to be something better than that. Got to be something. So I'm like, hey, man, you go over to my Twitter page and look at him crying. And somebody goes, Sileo, you can kiss Terrell Owens' bust in Canton. I go, yeah, you can't miss it. It's the one with the tears on it. Yeah, right? Yeah, Stevie Jones says, staying relevant. You can't tell me you wouldn't pay to watch that fight. Stevie, nicely said. Okay. Stevie, I'm one of the people on the planet that would pay for public executions, and I'd watch it on pay-per-view. Okay? So maybe I am one of those guys. Okay? Stevie's right because, hey, you always catch people on the highway, right? Rubbernecking. Hey, man, you think that car flipped over and killed anyone? Why do we always slow down? Because we love train wrecks. Why do we buy Mike Tyson fights? Or maybe he's going to bite somebody's nose off. See, Stevie's putting it in reality. Tell me you want to see that fight. So wait a minute, Stevie. We get the link and we have Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb throwing hands. You'd be all in for that? I don't know. Maybe I might be too. I called it. I'm on the side there calling it with Jim Lampley, right? Is that what you're saying? I don't know, man. It's just me. I'm like, come on, man. Donovan already told T.O. to keep his name out of his mouth. Who is Philly more on this? Oh, that's a good one. Muhammad says T.O. would knock him out. You think T.O. would? Who wins that fight? Owens or McNabb? Fist fight. See, now, wait a minute now. Just because Terrell Owens looks like Tarzan, he might fight like Jane now. Okay? $100 pay-per-view. I'm all over it. T.O. versus Jay. Oh, my God, that would be great. T.O. because you know what would happen if T.O. started losing, man? He'd just start crying, going, that's my boxing buddy. That's my boxing buddy. That'd be a crazy fight. Philly Talk podcast. Yeah, hey man, can you see T.O.? That's my opponent. That's my guy. It's my quarterback. And by the way, Romo's not better than McNabb. That's my quarterback. No. My quarterback. Guy plays with a broken leg and he cries over Tony Romo. I question that. Okay? Yeah, right? All right, man. Let's get into this game on Friday. Or tonight, excuse me. We'll get it. Let me do this. We'll get into the game tonight. The game on Saturday, I'll say. And what I mean by the game on Saturday, the preparation for the Eagles versus the Falcons, I hope these guys, once they get to Atlanta on Saturday, understand exactly what's going on here with this season here, how many things are on the line. The game is really starting on Saturday when they show up and they go through their walkthroughs. And everybody gets together and everybody has a conversation. Then they go out on Sunday and they play the game against the Atlanta Falcons. There are so many things that are surrounding this Eagle team this year going into this game against the Falcons on Sunday that, I mean, look, we named them yesterday and we talked about it a little bit, okay? The question marks are at head coach. The question marks are at quarterback. The question marks are in the running game. Not the O-line, but the running game. The questions are in the secondary. Will the wide receiving core step up, step in, or step back? Tight end position looks like it's probably one of the better positions on the team. Okay? But look at how many outliers there are. There's no question, now that you look at it, why the Eagles are 3.5-point dogs in this game going into Atlanta on Sunday. I think that's kind of shocking, too, especially when people are saying that there could be, a surprise team in the NFC East, and the Eagles could be that team. I said it yesterday, and I'll continue to say, here's how the Eagles have to win and the way that they win this football game on Sunday. They got to keep Matt Ryan off the field. How do you do that? Time of possession. Run the ball. Can't have 3 and outs. Jalen's got to make plays on third down. And know this, if you get some 3 and outs early, make sure they're 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 1. You don't want to see a whole boatload of these, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, because the playbook shrinks the more you're in that predicament. It just shrinks incredibly. So when you're at 3rd and 1, you pretty much have your entire playbook open. The game plan playbook will be open more so when you're 3rd and short. 3rd and long, it narrows. You're going to go down to isolated plays. And if you don't perform well at some of those isolated plays, think about that. It shrinks even more. So there's maybe going to be 3 plays for 3rd and 9 for Jalen Hurts if he's in that position a lot. And what happens, too, on the other side of the ball? The coordinator and the coordinators in the NFL, they're very, very smart. They're going to see that. He likes these 3 plays, 3rd and 9. They're not really opening up the playbook. For the record, he didn't get a lot of snaps during the exhibition season. So he's not going to be comfortable in anything 3rd and 9. So got to keep Matt Ryan off the field. I said it yesterday. 65 plays would probably keep you in the room still when it comes to the Eagles keeping it. Eagles have to get that game into the 4th quarter. You're not going to get into a back and forth with that Atlanta offense. You're just not. You don't have the capability. You don't have the personnel to do it. So you have to run the football. You need to win this game 26-20, something like that, like I've been saying all week. Yeah, so we'll get more into that game tomorrow because we'll put it down on paper how I see that thing playing itself out. But you got to keep Matt Ryan on the sidelines. And I don't know if the Eagles can do that. Can't see a boatload of 3 and outs. You just can't see that. All right, let's do tonight's game. Do the Buccaneers blow out the Dallas Cowboys? What do you guys think? Do they blow them out? By the way, real quick, Jason Cole will be at the bottom of the hour. Our NFL insider, Hall of Fame voter. We'll get his thoughts also on tonight's National Football League opener with Cowboys and Buccaneers. Do the Cowboys have a shot? Do the Bucs blow out the Cowboys? What do you think? Let's just give me some scores, and I'll throw you out my score. This is going to be interesting because it's going to be interesting on the Dallas Cowboys side, on how the Cowboys look. I look at it this way. Let me throw it out. I'll throw it out first then. I think this game tonight's 38-10. I can't see how the Cowboys stay with them. If Ezekiel Elliott gets 100, yeah, it's somewhere in there, Joey. Somewhere in there. If the Cowboys are able to run the ball and Zeke ends up getting 135 yards rushing, something like that, the Cowboys will make it a 4th quarter game. 32-17 smile. Shaq Barrett gets 3 sacks. Shaq Barrett is such a great football player. Man, the Buccaneers are going to be – the Bucs were number 1 against the rush last year. And the thing you have to rely on the most tonight is Zeke, and then you don't have Zach Martin. From what I understand, does anybody know, is Zach Martin playing tonight? I don't think he's playing tonight. So then you lose your best offensive lineman. But I'm going to make a point to you here also this. I'm going to say this about the Buccaneers season too, because tonight's not going to define the Bucs season, but it's going to tell us a little bit about this. You know, the Buccaneers have such a great football team, okay? If a wide receiver goes down, they got AB, they got Goodwin. Look at the running backs, offensive linemen. Muhammad says Zach Martin's not playing. Okay. That kills the Cowboys even more so. But the Buccaneers going into this 2021 season, do we not agree? The Buccaneers going into this season, they're kind of protected almost at every single position on the field. They've created great depth. I mean, Jason Licht, the general manager, has done a hell of a job at creating that, right? But what's the one position the Cowboys are not protected at? Quarterback. Okay? That entire thing can implode with all of those great football players if Brady goes down. Now, in Brady's 22 years, he's missed 15 ball games. Is that a likelihood? You know, I keep saying no, but he's 44. And when you get older, those nagging injuries linger longer. Then they create other injuries. And by the way, I'm not throwing negative juju at the guy. I'm just talking about reality and the way things. Now, is Brady an outlier? Absolutely. He's an outlier. I absolutely believe that. But I mean, think about it. Every single position, the Buccaneers have two great tight ends. They've got depth in the O-line and D-line. They got depth at linebacker. Those wideouts, they have crazy great depth. But the bottom line is they're not protected at the quarterback position. So if you're not protected at the quarterback position, the most important position, and you've got to go to that position, that tells you Buccaneers have to keep that guy upright. Got to keep that guy protected. Now, to his history, it really comes down to the fact that Brady's missed 15 games in his tremendous career, which is so few games. When you're talking about a guy playing over 320 games, I mean, he's really been relatively healthy. Okay? Tone, thank you, brother. Appreciate you always doing this with us, man. Thank you. So tonight, I just don't see the Cowboys having a shot in hell at doing anything. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. Now, hey, they may show up. We've seen this before in the NFL. I'm not going to throw maybes and ifs at anybody because I don't want to give you guys fake news or like false gold here. But I'll fool's gold. But I'll tell you, man, I just don't see the Cowboys on the same page. And, you know, I was listening to Undisputed this morning, and Skip Bayless, who absolutely is a big-time Cowboy honk. I can't believe we got to play the Bucs in the opener. Man, I want to play the Bucs in the opener. If I'm the Cowboys, don't you want to find out how good you are immediately and some of your deficiencies? Why not play the best team in the NFL? Who wants to play tomato cans? You need to find out what your strengths and weaknesses are right away so you can address it and adjust to it. I think this is the perfect opponent for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not going to play any tougher opponent in the NFC East. So if they can hang with the Cowboys and make it a fourth quarter game, now look, I'm not giving anybody, you know, I'm not going to give you these ceremonial victories and getting an ass kicking. I don't do that. Well, hell, you put a good effort up. Yeah, I hate that kind of conversation. I really do. I hate that. However, you're not going to play a better opponent. So the Cowboys, if they hang in there and they fight and they play, they're going to come out of this game going like this. And for the record, Dak Prescott's got mulligans all over the joint. He's got a massive contract. He's got his deal. He's not going anywhere. Okay? He's coming off an injury. So there's going to be built-in excuses everywhere for the Cowboys if they just absolutely flop tonight. And if they show up, more people are going to overrate them again. See, like I said, I think the Cowboys at best are a 9. They're a 9-8 team, something like that. But again, like I said, I think it's 38-10 Cowboys. Or 38-10 Buccaneers. I don't see them hanging in this game at all. I just don't see them hanging in there. Yeah, so, I mean, Tom Brady, does he throw for 3 touchdowns? Maybe. But let me throw this at you here, too, before we get our friend Jason Cole on here. Guys, Tom Brady tweeted out a couple minutes ago before we went on the air. He goes like this, 22 years. LFG. Let's, you know what, go. Okay? Can you think of anybody that has ever played, as long as Brady has played, at this high level? He's not even really considered. He's got a whole different category, doesn't he? I've never seen anything like this. I'm trying to think of Barry Bonds was 44. I think Bonds led baseball in walks, on base percentage. I think at 44, am I right? Bonds, I think he had 28 homers. He was still the most feared guy that came to the plate. I think he hit 286, something at 44. Bonds was a freak show. Okay? I mean, he just was a freak show at the end. And he probably could have played another 3-4 years. He's probably the only guy I've ever seen that plays at that level going into his mid-40s. Is Bonds. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. So, I mean, as long as he's played, the amount of success that he's had, man, incredible. So tonight, when you know what? You're like watching one of the top 3 athletes, like of all time. I mean, of all time in American sports history. Would we not agree with that with Tom Brady? When you think of the greatest athletes of all time in American sports history, right? Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Tiger, Ali, like I said, Brady. I think Brady's taken the mantle from Jim Brown. The face of the NFL is Tom Brady now. The face of the league forever was Jim Brown. They'd always go like this, who's the greatest football player of all time? And for generations, people go, Jim Brown. Jim Brown. It's Brady now. Muhammad said Ravens might have 3 running backs now done with ACLs. Wow. Man, there's a lot of people that are saying that the Ravens are going to have a walk-back season. That kills them. Smile says, have to get used to college football jersey numbers this season. Tampa Bay first-round pick, edge rusher Joe Tron's jersey number's 9. I know, huh? Brady hates that. He does. All right, we're going to take a time out here. By the way, you tell me, going into your second year, if your quarterback is not named captain, is it a big deal? We kind of hit on this yesterday. I think it's an even bigger deal today. Maybe it's not. We'll get your thoughts. Jason Cole right around the corner. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
Hey, Eagles fans, if you're a subscriber to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, you are already registered to win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming season. That's right, you could win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming 2021 season just for being a subscriber. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, do it now. Subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel right now. What do you need to do? Subscribe right now.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, we got this.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. Dan Sileo, Jason Cole right around the corner. So POs like people are on my Twitter page going, dude, this is the first time I've ever heard of you. Why would you tweet me? Don't you have anything better to do in your life? You're like a nobody. Oh, thank you. Oh, from whomever. Box of rocks, man. Those people on Twitter are box of rocks to me. Wait, I've never heard of you. Why are you saying this about my guy? I'm not saying anything. I'm saying grow up, dude. You're 55 years old and you want to pick fights with somebody over a few 20 years ago? No wonder the guy was a loser when it came to being a teammate and everyone hated his ass. You know, I mean, have you ever heard anybody say anything positive about Terrell Owens except Terrell Owens? That guy's defined by his attitude. Isn't that sad? That guy's defined by his attitude, not his play. I'm not showing up to the Hall of Fame because I wasn't a first ballot. Who cares? Honestly. It's some dudes that pick their nose and sharpen pencils and write on a piece of paper. Well, I think that T.O. should, be in or not in. By the way, Jason Cole, who was in the room when they put Terrell Owens in, we'll get his thoughts on T.O. and this stupid thing that's been going on for ever. And I'm like, who cares about it? So I'm like, yeah, I think Jason finally voted him in. I'm not sure if Jason voted him in or not, Terrell Owens. I gotta ask him. So if he ended up voting for him, he's gonna be on here in a minute. Yeah. So some of his Twitter guys are stupid too. He's a great player. No one's ever denied that. Steve Young hated him. Everybody in San Francisco hated him. At the end, everybody in Philly hated him. You have some of those guys because you know what they'll do. They'll always throw race into it, and it's got nothing to do with race. It's just the fact he's a hemorrhoid. Owens is watch this. I think people more in Philly like Michael Vick than they do Owens. Oh, Steve's right. Stevie's right. He is. Owens wins. I guess so. You're right, because I'm going on and on about him. You're right. You are. It's kind of the same thing that I guess I did, but I wasn't really looking for a response. I didn't care. I just think that there's certain guys that you look to and you're like, I think that guy is a tremendous talent, and you hope he's got tremendous character. Isn't it disappointing sometimes, though, when you find out the other guy doesn't have the character? I got to find out if Jason Cole voted for T.O. Let's bring my friend on, Jason Cole. By the way, his book, make sure you get it here, Relentless Life, about John Elway. So I've been going back and forth here, Jason, with Terrell Owens on my Twitter page. And I told him to grow to F up because he still wants to fight Donovan McNabb over a 20-year deal. And I have to ask you, did you vote him into the Hall of Fame? Did he eventually get your vote?
Yeah, he did eventually. I mean, look, he had the numbers that it deserved to get in. And I'll put it to you this way. I could see it. I survey like 400 people a year. The first year that he was, on the ballot, I think he finished 8th on that survey. So I was like, okay, it's more, and that was the year Morton Anderson went in and Jason Taylor. And so I was like, okay, there are lots of really knowledgeable football people who are like, okay, he deserves to get in, but he doesn't just walk in, right? Like, if you walk in on the first ballot in this process, usually you're one of the top 2 or 3 guys in this, right? That wasn't the case. And, in terms of how I do my research, not the case. Second year, I think he moved up to 6th. And by the third year, he was in the top 5, and he deserved to get in. And I will say this, the year that he went in, Randy Moss went in on the first ballot. And I truly believe Randy Moss was a better football player than T.O., even though the numbers are close. If you looked at them, Randy was better. And so they got in. But the real kicker for me is, look, that year, Ray Lewis was going in. And if we're going to talk about character, and you're going to tell me I'm going to keep T.O. out because he was a bad guy, but I'm supposed to just let Ray in and not think about, an off-field isn't supposed to matter. But let's be serious. And I know you're a UM guy. And
No. I always wonder, Jason, how much that really played with you voters, because I wonder if it played that way with Lawrence Taylor as well, that you guys just said, hey, man, there's a lot of character issues here. I
try not to get too much into character about this. But there's a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm never going to vote. Darren Sharper can never get in. Never, ever.
Even though he was on the ballot.
Even though there's no way I'm doing that. Okay. There's no way. Even though I'm not supposed to count things off the field. Like, you can only disgust me to a certain level where I say I can't in good conscience do that. Ray, I voted for because we're still not sure what happened that night. We're never really going to know what happened that night because too many people have lied about what happened that night, right? So, and otherwise, in Ray's life, he handled himself as a pretty good citizen, right? In most other ways. T.O. did not. Like, there's this long stretch of time where he's just a D-bag, right?
Yeah, he completely is.
A bad guy. And, I was like, yeah, I had a problem. And most of the people that I talked to had a problem with him. It's like, he can sit for a year or two, but yes, he deserves to go in. And so T.O. can complain all he wants about not getting in the first time. He's going to complain about that until he dies, whatever. He's in the Hall of Fame. And to get back to this other point about McNabb, he can continue to make news about that or try to make news about it every year. Like at a certain point, it's like, we get it. You hate Donovan McNabb. What's new in your life? Are you still living your life based on something that happened 17 years ago, Tio? Is that what you're really doing? Because that's the only thing that you make news for anymore. You're not doing anything else with your life besides complaining about Donovan McNabb. Like, dude, grow up. Move on.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, and then he wrote back on my Twitter, I am grown up. I'm doing this. I was and I'm going like this. I'm like, T.O., aren't you bigger than this? You got a bus. You're one of 300 people on the planet that are in that building. And I'm thinking, man, you could be doing so much more with that gold jacket than sit around and crying and wanting to make a fight with Donovan McNabb. And I just don't get it. By the way, that leads me to this tough question, though, before we get into tonight's game. Sure. Would you have voted for OJ if OJ were an active player today and he had gotten exonerated in that courtroom?
I mean, what are you going to do? Are you like trying to dip me in a vomit or something like that?
Ray. You said it about Ray. I want to know about – so OJ was let off the hook. Okay, I'll move on. Let's go to
Come on, man.
Let's go on to tonight.
Come on,
all right.
Man. Yeah, and there's a big difference between getting in a street fight and what happened with OJ. Okay?
Oh, you think? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got Buccaneers 38-10. Tell me why I'm wrong here tonight that the Buccaneers don't blow this Cowboy team out.
Well, I'm not sure that you are wrong. So you're asking me to argue a point I don't believe in. I think that this is a coronation game. Like this is the closest you get in the NFL to a college atmosphere for a game, where the home team has such a huge advantage. I think the in this kind of a game, it's more like instead of a standard 3-point advantage for being at home, in this game it's like 5, maybe even 7 points, right? I don't know, 38-10. I don't know if the gap in points is that wide, because I do think Dallas has they got a lot of players. They're going to score points. So if you told me 38-24, where the game's not really in doubt, but the score's a little closer than you think, okay, I buy that. I don't see Dallas getting hammered score-wise that way. That's what I would say. That I don't know that it's going to be competitive, but I don't know that the score is going to reflect the difference in the teams.
Jason, why do I look at the Buccaneers this year and I go like this? They're pretty protected at almost every position. They got they're deep at running back. They've developed O-line depth with Jason Light, the GM. Their defensive line has got depth. They're deep everywhere, but the only place they're not protected is at quarterback. I mean, if he goes down, now I'm not saying he is. He's missed 15 games and 300-plus football games that he's played in the NFL. He's starting his 22nd year. I mean, he's been very healthy. I know he's 44. You got to tie that into it. But, I mean, is there anybody out there you think can stop this Buccaneer team?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're good. And I think that they're solid across the board. And let me start with this point. Is there any team in the league that's protected at quarterback?
I think that Titans team kind of is. I don't really think that when you look at
maybe because the demands on the quarterback position aren't as high.
But probably the only one a 2-year point, no.
Right. I mean, nobody's going to replace their star quarterback all that easily. Correct. It just doesn't happen very easily. So I think it's kind of that point I don't really buy into. The point about this is I think they're good at every position, right? If not great at at certain positions, right? But I don't think that they're overwhelming across the board. I think there are times that people will catch them, and Green Bay caught them last year during the regular season, right? And it can happen. Other teams can catch them. I think that they're really confident based on last year. But I will also say this: they have some guys who can play with too much confidence, if that makes sense, right? Like Ndamukong Suh has never been truly great year in, year out.
No, that 1 year he had 10 sacks in Detroit. He's never lived up to that year.
Right. And Vita Vet, is everybody going to play to the level defensively that they played to last year, especially in the second half?
Right.
I don't know. Is Evans going to be better than he was last year, especially with Brady? Sure. Is Godwin probably going to be healthier than he was a year ago? Yeah, they make up in certain places there, but I don't know that they're that you can expect the certain level of play from every single one of those guys. And I'll always go back to this. If you remember, like the Baltimore Ravens in 2001, where they had that championship defense, right? And they just rolled everybody. Not 2001, it was 99, with Ray Lewis and Siragusa and Adams. People thought, oh, okay, this team's just going to roll for 2 or 3 more years because that defense is so dominant. Well, what they did is Siragusa and Adams had career years, and you understand that position. You understand how those guys played. You understand their talent level. Sam Adams never, ever again played to that level, even though he had that talent. Siragusa played close to that level, but not quite, right? And they didn't have those two guys were the heart and soul of how that defense played and made everything easier for everybody else. That didn't happen again. And so what we thought was going to be this dynastic defense, was really good and won their one title, and then that was it.
And I completely agree with that. Let me ask you one more Cowboy question here, Jace. When we look at Dak Prescott, do you see Dak Prescott 5 years from now being one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League? I mean,
no.
The money that he's being paid right now, you would think that he'd be one of the top 5 guys in the game.
It's the going rate. You just
I think that's flawed. The going rate. Okay, so the going rate.
But you don't get. But here's the thing, dude.
I'm forced to pay for a guy that does. He walks into this game making more money than Tom Brady, and I would never take that guy.
Go find another one.
Jimmy said that today. Finding even decent quarterbacks are hard.
Right. I mean, you have to pay a lot of money. Matt Ryan's one of the top paid guys. Kirk Cousins has been in that upper echelon of top 5, and he's not that guy. But it's the cost of doing business, especially if you wait. If you wait as long as the Cowboys did to pay Dak Prescott, which again I don't blame them for doing that. But once they cornered themselves, they were cornered, right? And good luck going and finding another guy. Okay, so I just go into this that barring a team that has a quarterback who's in like the first 3 years of his contract, like Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, the first 4 years. Beyond that, you're never cheap at that position. You just might as well say my cap number at that position is going to be 30, 35, maybe even 40. And if it's 40 million, just consider yourself lucky that you have a guy who's worth paying that kind of money. And so is Dak Prescott top 5? No, but could he end up in there? Maybe close. Here's the issue. Can you win a championship with Dak Prescott if everything goes right? Yes. Will you win multiple championships with Dak Prescott? Is he going to make you better year in, year out, a continuous contender? No, he's not that guy. He's not that guy.
You know what, Jace? I think you just really made a spectacular point, because it's not the question whether or not he'll be a top 5 quarterback in 5 years. What's the cap number going to be in 5 years? 55 million? 56 million? Now we're talking about a guy who's making $42 million a year. That's what his average is going to be. He's out of that $45 to $50 million range in 5 years, because that number, this is going to escalate up, and it's going to start tapping near $50 million a year when we start talking about the Josh Allen redos.
Right, but what is the rest? What is the cap? Is the cap 210 million by then?
Oh, it's going to continue to. It's going to. I say because of this year, it'll probably be 217, something 215, maybe next year. I mean, we're going to look.
No, I think it's going to go. I think there's going to be a substantial growth by next year. That it's going to get up around 240.
Absolutely, here.
And so then it's not a big deal.
Let me throw this at you here. Big deal or no deal for you that the only starting quarterback coming back outside of 2, I believe, rookies that didn't get named captain of his football team was Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. Is that a big deal or no deal to you?
I think it's a small thing, but I looked at that list of captains, and there was like 3 guys who were first-year guys. Like Jason McCourty is one of their captains, right? They picked an older guy.
Trevor Lawrence was.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the Dolphins in particular. Like
Okay.
if you go to the Dolphins and you go to the Dolphins list of captains, you kind of go, okay, they had certain guys who were veterans who came in and got those jobs. I get it. Is it great? No, it's not a great thing. Do I think that Tua is a bad guy? Like, no, not. I think it's very far from it. Has he proven himself? No. And I think that once he proves himself and they win some things, look, he was a rookie last year. It'll be okay. Let's see if he can play.
Jimmy said that. Hey, Jace. Jimmy said this. He might just not be one of the guys, and some guys are just not one of the guys yet. He goes, it just sounds to me like he's maybe not one of the guys, and Brady bends over backwards to be one of the guys, so maybe he's still learning to be one of the guys in the locker room.
He's in his second year, right?
I get it.
He's in his second year, and guys will look at him saying, "Okay, you're okay last year, but you ain't the deal yet. So go show us that you're the deal." And once he proves that he's the deal, or he doesn't, they'll figure it out. I think too much is made out of captaincy, unless you're talking about a long period of time. If you told me in year 4 or 5 that Tua was there and he wasn't the captain at some point in time, then it's like, okay, now I got something like this is weird. Like that's not normal. But in year 2, I'm not freaking out about it. And Trevor Lawrence is a bad comp because they got nobody. They got nothing to be captain.
Absolutely. 2 last questions for you. Jace, are the Patriots back, in your opinion? Do you see a bounce-back year for them this year with Mac Jones, rookie quarterback, 11 wins, 10 wins, somewhere in there? Or do you see maybe still growing pains?
No, I mean, they got a defense that's a veteran defense.
Yeah.
Like, they should be good on defense. Way better than last year because they had, 4 starters who dropped out last year because of COVID. And so I think they're going to be much, much better defensively. And Mac Jones I think he's going to make their passing game more efficient. I mean, it can't be worse than they were last year passing the ball. And you throw in the 2 tight ends. Are they a serious contender? That's going to depend on what Mac Jones is. And I think if you're expecting a rookie quarterback to come in and take you deep into the playoffs, come on now. Let's not put that on Mac Jones. Do I say 9, 10, if everything comes together, 11 wins? Yeah, that's possible. But I will say this. I think those 2 teams, the Patriots and the Dolphins, are really tightly bunched in terms of, where are they going to come in? I put Buffalo obviously slightly ahead. The Jets are way down deep below them right now.
Okay, I've got to give you the new update on Owens here. He just tweeted this 5 minutes ago. Laugh at people like you. I'm assuming he means me. I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, I guess that's evident. You can't discredit me. You don't know me. If I need a psychiatrist, then add me to the list. Quit tagging the Eagles, okay? You just want attention, you clown. Then I'll forever speak the truth, whatever you or anyone likes it or not. If it comes up in a discussion, as it did, podcast, then I'm going to speak my mind. Mind your business, boy. And this is a grown-up talk. I love your response. You want out of this so bad.
I could care.
I can't believe you. I mean, listen, I give you, wait a minute. I'm going to leave you with this. I give you a lot of love for voting that guy in because he is a tool bag. And for you guys to sit in that room and do that.
Oh, let me tell you this story.
Good for you.
Let me tell you this story about him. So the first year he was there, I think it was up in Houston, was the year he was in Houston. And they have this big presentation where they have Hall of Famers talk. It's like on the Friday before, Thursday or the Friday before. They have this big moment, and he's there. And he's like sitting in the front row with all these guys who are, we're talking about the biggest, faces of the game. And they're talking about how special this is. And he spent the entire time, of all the candidates, the 15 guys or however many were there, were all there. And they were paying attention. And they were giving respect to these guys, except for one guy who spent the entire time on his cell phone, sitting in the front row, just looking down and, sending messages back and forth and not paying attention to anybody. And it was that guy. He doesn't respect anybody else. He doesn't care. And not that and ultimately it sort of doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it makes me say, you can wait. I always come back to this. My first year that I was ever voting, Warren Sapp was on the ballot. I know Warren's another guy.
Yeah, but he's got questionable deals too when it comes
to. But this is that's not even it. People say he mailed it in his career and stuff like that. And people say that. I'm not even talking about that. He gets voted in that day that he gets voted in, and you got time that you can talk all the trash you want, right? Like I'm one of the greatest. And go ahead, it's your day, enjoy it. What does Warren come out and do? He comes out and he trashes Michael Strahan. He spends all of his time that day, go back and look up the quotes, and he talks about how Strahan doesn't deserve it and this and that. It's all this petty jealousy with Strahan. And I was like, that's an embarrassment. I should have thought about you more. I knew Warren Sapp was a jerkbag when he played. He didn't respect anybody, wouldn't shake hands with anybody. Right. He wouldn't treat people nicely. He had no dignity, he had no class. And and not that Strahan was the nicest guy in the world either, but at least he knew how to cooperate and would treat people with dignity, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel bad because I should have put Strahan in and made Sapp wait because you're such a jerk. But whatever, they're in. And they have their place in the Hall of Fame. And it ultimately doesn't matter if you're first ballot or you're not. Just go enjoy it and go enjoy your life and then do something with your life instead of, I got to hear this in
I get
conversation.
You've been given such a great honor by you guys looking at it, being fair. I talked to you and Rick Gosselin and Howard Balzer, my three favorite Hall of Fame voters. I love you three guys, and you guys are such caretakers of the Hall of Fame. And I mean, and then when you see people not utilizing it to the best of their ability and really giving back, like, you know what? Warrick Dunn's a Hall of Fame person. I wish to God that he had that's a guy that deserves gold jackets. I mean, I don't know, Jason.
As a human being, there's a lot of guys out there who deserve being in the Hall of Fame as human beings way before a lot of guys who are in. But that's not how it works.
I know.
And you vote for people, and sometimes you have to vote for people when you can stomach it. Okay,
I get it. Yeah,
and
you're a better man than you're a better man than me, and that's why, folks, please do me a favor, right here. Oh, I'd hold that against that piece of, you know what? I completely would. Please get the book here, Jason. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk next week. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, be good.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
Hey, Eagles fans, if you're a subscriber to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, you are already registered to win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming season. That's right, you could win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming 2021 season just for being a subscriber. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, do it now. Subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel right now. What do you need to do? Subscribe right now.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
I'm just Big Sills. National Football Show. Hey, Trevor, you watching this going on Twitter right now? I just gave T.O. a gift with baby crying. Dude, I knew he wouldn't let it go. Grow up, dude. If I need to grow up, I'm a proud black. Nobody said it. Really, I'm a proud Italian. How you doing? The hell's that got to do with anything? So I shot him off a baby crying gif. Okay. Man. Still talking about something 18 years ago. You just heard Jason Cole, who basically said just a couple minutes ago that he had to stomach to vote that guy into the Hall of Fame because he's such a tool. You think he's the only guy that had to stomach putting that guy in? Absolutely, man. And quite frankly, for the record, on T.O.'s side, he's right. You shouldn't have to play the personality of what the guy is and what he's not. And this is how I started it out. Eagle fan hasn't even responded. I asked him a question. Do the Eagles really even care about Terrell Owens? I mean, do they actually look at him and go, yeah, no, he was, I mean, I mean, I'm Italian, man. I mean, this guy wrote a dissertation, if I need anybody and and you're a clown. Okay. You don't know me from a can of paint, guy. All I know is that you want to fight Donovan McNabb for an 18-year beef that happened years ago. Grow up. You don't know me, but what I see in you and hear from you, grow up. Honestly. You're mean. And you heard Jason say, guys like that, man, they just sit around, they're throwing shots at everybody. Remember, what was the latest thing that he did? He was trashing somebody like Chris Carter or somebody on getting into the Hall of Fame. What is that to you, dude? Okay? I mean, what is that to you? What do you care? Oh, and boy, I didn't know that story about Sapp trashing Michael Strahan. Why would you do that? Why you got a gold jacket, man. There's only 300 some odd guys that are in the Hall of Fame. And you got a gold jacket. You could do so many marvelous things with those things. I don't know. Let's get into, go over to my Twitter page. This guy wrote a thesis on why, guys like me, he ignores guys like me, even though he's tweeted me 5 times, trying to make his point. Whatever. Okay? Whatever. I don't really care. So let me ask you guys this, though. Am I making more out of this with Tua Tagovailoa not being named captain in the second year as a starter with the Miami Dolphins? Is it more of a deal? Because I asked you this yesterday. Is this more of a deal or no deal? See, tell me if I'm reading this right. I happen to think it's a big deal. And follow me here when I say this to you. So if you're not one of the guys, if you listen to the interview I did with Bruce Arians a couple days ago, right here on the JAKIB Media channel too, by the way, the greatest asset we talk about with Tom Brady is that he is a great teammate and everyone around him really loves how he communicates with everybody in the locker room. One of the first things he did last year when he got to Tampa was he got every phone number from Jason Light, and he called every guy that was going to go to training camp. And he made sure that he had a great relationship with each and every single one of them. And I'm going to tell you a secret here. Muhammad says, no, it's a big deal. Jalen Hurts played only 4 games. Tua played more and was not voted by his peers. See, I think Muhammad's right. I think it's got to do, it's one thing if a coach doesn't name me a captain. It's another thing when my teammates don't name me a captain. Okay? Unless there's circumstances surrounding it. Okay? Then I think that's kind of a big deal. Hey, Trevor says, hey, T.O., thank you for your service. Yeah, man. Thanks for blowing up my Twitter. It's great. It's wonderful. By the way, 90% of the people agree with me. And the other 10% are the loser people that follow you. Okay? Trevor says, didn't his teammates write names for captains and throw it in a hat? Trevor, man, if that's how they picked captains by throwing names into a hat, that's a poor way of doing it. That's not how I'm going to pick my captain. You're not just taking my vote and throwing it in there, and all of a sudden it's going to – that's not how I want to pick my captain. I want everyone to know. I'm not doing unnamed sources. I want everyone to know, no, I voted for Tom Brady. Or, no, I voted for Shaq Barrett. No, I voted for this guy. You know what I'm saying? I want everyone to know who I voted for. No, nothing personal. There's just guys on your football team that are just born leaders. Hey, see, for me, and I'll give you this right here, bad culture, I don't know. I think Brian Flores and Chris Greer, the general manager, are doing a nice job at least at growing that franchise, and I think the Dolphins are in the right direction. I really do. But for me personally, I never wanted to be a captain. I'm too selfish. I'm too self-centered. My teammates love me. As you go on my Twitter page, and all the guys I ever get on, and the people I've ever – Jimmy Johnson, I'm going to tell you something, man. Coach Johnson wrote me one of the greatest text messages today of all time. It's such a great text message. Told me how much he loved me and this and that, and I just never wanted to be a captain, though. And it was just something that, for me, it's a responsibility I don't want, because I'm going to go out there and I may say some things to some teammates out there in a huddle or in a locker room that you're not going to like. And I think you got to be kind of a politician at that deal. You've got to be a politician. I'll give you a story that Joe Madden told me years ago. Some of you may have heard me say this. So I was covering the Rays. And when I was in Tampa, 15 years doing morning drive. And I used to get Joe Madden on the show. And Joe Madden, who's now the manager of the Angels, just tremendous guy. And, man, he did so many really great things on creating what Trevor's talking here, a tremendous culture in the building. Just a tremendous culture. And Joe would talk to Carl Crawford, or he would talk to people, whomever, and you could see him getting into Evan Longoria's ass, or he would get into Cliff Floyd or whomever. It didn't matter because Joe was the manager of that baseball team, and everyone knew it. And I asked him, I go, what's your secret, coach? How are you able to talk to guys, especially with guys with different personalities? You know what he said? I think it's telling. And I think these are the great managers and the great coaches. He said, you know what I did? And I think this is what Brady's applied. He goes, I have a personal relationship with 24, 25 guys in my dugout. I know their likes, their weaknesses. I know the things that, make them happy. I know the things that make them sad. I have a relationship with everyone that's in my dugout, including my bench coaches, everybody. And I go, why is that important? He said, because there's a difference between being constructive and destructive. When you don't have a relationship with someone, how many times have you guys had relationships with people that you loved and they were just basically telling you the truth? Hey, this sucks, but you didn't take offense to it because you knew where it was coming from. I've got a certain circle of people in my life that I have that talk to me like that. When things are here or things are there, ups and downs. They've been everywhere in my life, but there's always been people in my circle that are going to always tell you the truth. And then there's other people that don't have a relationship with you, and you know what they do? They're just screaming at you. Those are the people I have no respect for. Those are the people who are not coming from a good place. Okay? Those are the people who are self-centered in their own right and that are looking for excuses for failure. You know the people. You run into them on a day-to-day basis. You know the people that you can talk to at your place of work or in your family. Hell, even in your family sometimes. There's certain people that don't really care, and there's certain people that will give you the time of day that you care. I'll tell you something that I've learned a lesson too. I have a conversation with a family member every day. You know what it trains me to do? It trains me to care about other people's feelings and things that are going on in their life. My family member always says this to me, I don't want to bug you. And I'm like, you're not bugging me. You're actually helping me. Because when you can understand other people's things that are important to them in their life, it makes your life better. Because it gives you balance. And that's what Joe Madden's talking about. When somebody's talking to you about something that you may not care about, practice patience. Because that person's telling you something for a reason. I'm not here to teach you how to be a dad or a friend. I'm just telling you what coaches that are really great do. They're going to take time with a kid. My coach, Jimmy Johnson, took time with me today, years after the playing days are over with. And it's never changed. He listens to me. He talks to me. He's my friend to this day. There's no lights on me. There's no cameras on me. There's no cameras on us. There's no more games to be played. But he cares about me. There's certain coaches that you could text, they'll never text you back. Every one of my Miami coaches, Dave Wannstedt, who's on my Twitter page, he liked the picture the other day I posted of my daughter. Follows my life, not just my career. Those coaches and managers like Joe Madden, they follow your life, not just anything out there. Okay? They follow your life. Those are the people I love. Guys that care. Guys that understand. So, circling back to Tua here, the players in the locker room obviously have a lower respect level for him. Is that fair? If I were Tua, I would be devastated by that. Because what it does is, you know what? Not only do I have to prove on the field that I have to prove to my teammates and the organization and the community that I can win, but most importantly, I've got to be a better teammate. Tua Tagovailoa is not a very good teammate right now. Okay? He's not. And I would be pissed too. Be like, damn, this is on me. The littlest, tiniest things. Guys, I swear to you, guys say something in the locker room that you don't think lands in the right place and it lands somewhere else. You get a fist fight in those locker rooms. You can get into fist fights. Somebody will think you're disrespecting them. Hey, I'm telling you, them rooms ain't like, you know, they say that, well, you know, a football team is like a microcosm of society. No, it ain't. You'll do anything for one of those chairs. Sit in that locker room. Sit in those team meeting rooms. Those chairs ain't handed out freely. Absolutely not. So it being kind of a big deal, I think it is a big deal. And let's see if it plays itself out, because everyone knows the Dolphins are kicking the can. And they're trying to kick this story down the road because they want Deshaun Watson. They totally want Deshaun Watson. Am I wrong when I say that? They want this kid. So, all right, we're going to take a brief timeout. We come back. So Jimmy G gets the starting job. I want to talk a little bit more about what I'm expecting this weekend from Jalen Hurts versus the Atlanta Falcons. We'll do that next. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
Hey, Eagles fans, if you're a subscriber to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, you are already registered to win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming season. That's right, you could win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming 2021 season just for being a subscriber. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, do it now. Subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel right now. What do you need to do? Subscribe right now.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Big Sills, National Football Show. Oh, man. I feel bad for that dude. I do. I'm starting to feel bad for him. You're right, dude. Why are you responding to a person like me? Because the truth hurts. Terrell Owens, the truth hurts. Sad, man. You're a Hall of Fame Gold Jacket member. Act like it. There's a message for you. Act like it. Instead of this crybaby that is on display all the time. Act like a leader. You can't. I mean, you're an attention whore when it comes to the kind of stuff. I mean, I could see a guy being relevant about modern day issues. If he was talking about Afghanistan or the vaccination policy, you know what I'm saying? Then you're like, okay, that's a pretty good spin by a guy who's a Hall of Famer. Instead, we're talking about things 20 years ago. My God. Really? Really? Oh, by the way, I do have to hit on this. I don't know if you guys saw this tweet from Pro Football Talk. Now, this is Mike Florio. He's another tool bag. So Mike Florio, are you ready? Mike Florio printed out a story that supposedly Jamar Chase, the kid who was taken high by the Bengals, said that he's having issues I tweeted this out too. That he's having issues catching the football because there's no lines on the football in the pro game, and there's lines on the college football in the college game. I started laughing at that because I had never heard that excuse. I had never heard that. Never in a million years heard that. So Jamar just tweeted out, I never said that, dude. So is it Mike Florio being T.O., trying to be relevant? At least Mike Florio's talking to a modern-day guy. And he's making fake news. I'm going to take the player's side on this one. If Chase didn't say it, I believe him. I don't believe Florio. I've never believed Florio. I love Chris Sims. We've had him on the show. But I don't believe Mike Florio. He's a clickbait monster. So he threw out there that the receiver from the Bengals said, I can't catch the football in the NFL because there's no lines on it. I tweeted that out and I went, man, please say this ain't true. I've heard it all. I know I said, I put smiley faces on my Twitter at Dan Sileo Show. And I said, please tell me. I mean, I've heard it all now, is what I said. So, man, boy, the NFL's got some great things going on tonight, right? You got the game going on. You got people barking. Kent says, Dano, you got to put something into a bucket in order to get something out. Coaching is exactly like that. You have to put a lot in. You do. You're right. Coaching and managing, you've got to put a lot of personal time in, just like you do when you're talking on a family. Okay? Honest to God. You have to put so much in to being a coach. It's part psychiatrist. You know what I mean? Because you're dealing with people's personalities all the time. Stevie Jones says it's a wide receiver thing. T.O., A.B., Alshon Jeffries, and on. He's right. Coke lines? Whatever. You know? Whatever. Yeah, it's the diva position. It's the worst position there is in the NFL today. You know why we have more big mouth wide receivers today than we've ever had in the history of the game? Because you're allowed to go across the middle now. And you're not policing the sport anymore. So these guys get up, they're talking trash to all the safeties and strong safeties, and they're barking at corners now because they know this. You can't do anything about it. There's a conduct policy, and that's kind of, in a way, why that new taunting policy was put in. Because watch this. You've given the wide receiver so much autonomy that anytime somebody has a hard hit on a wideout or anytime somebody knocks a guy out, automatically a flag comes in from targeting, unprotected receiver. And then what do they do when they make a 10-yard catch? They jump up and they get in the defender's face. He's got no recourse. They make it so more difficult to be a defensive football player today than any time in league history. They completely do. They make it so much more difficult. And these receivers know it. That's why they can bark like this. That's totally why they can bark. All right. One thing I want to say about Jalen against the Falcons this weekend. Give me some numbers on what you're looking at for him this weekend for them to be competitive. And I'm talking, and by the way, the Eagles are 3.5-point dogs in this game, which shocks me. Shocks me that they're 3.5-point dogs. Okay? I thought the Eagles would go into this game being 3.5-point favorites going in, but they're not. Here's where, listen, if I see a game where he's around 250 yards in the air and 65 yards on the ground, and he's somewhere 18 or 25, like that, okay? Ken, he's not going to run. If he runs for 150 yards, they'll win that game handily. And he won't need to throw the ball. Okay? So I'm looking at 250 in the air, 65 somewhere in there on the ground. He puts a performance like that with no turnovers. Eagles get that 26-20 victory and get out of there with a win. That's kind of where I'm at with him. 250, 240, 62, and about 60 yards on the ground. Yeah, Muhammad, 250 passing, 50 rushing, 2 TDs. That's the room he's got to be in, Muhammad. Stevie says, remember the show, those tagline was, who got what? He got whacked. GW says 270, 60 yards rushing. We're starting to get up near 30 attempts, GW. I want him to be around 25 to 30 attempts because remember what, if you're throwing the ball 30 times against Atlanta. Now, to some of your points yesterday, I went back and looked at it because I wanted to double check. You guys are right. Atlanta's defense, I don't really think they did that much when it came to addressing their front seven. And it was poorish at best last year. It's one of the reasons Dan Quinn got fired. You know what's really crazy about tonight's game? Everybody keeps telling me how great a coach Dan Quinn is. The guy was just fired because he had a horrible defense. Jay says Hurts 23 of 32, 310, 3 touchdowns. Boy, that's a big day, dude. Jay, he puts those numbers up, he could be player of the week. Now, are you saying that because Atlanta's defense is suspect? GW says 270, 60 yards. See, that's a little high, but I'm in there. I'm like 250, 65 yards rushing, couple touchdowns. Smile says Hurts struggling, being pushed left. Okay, that's an absolutely fabulous point too. Okay, I mean that's an absolute fabulous point. I don't want him to throw that much. I see. I'm with you, Muhammad. I don't want him to throw that much. Jay says, yes, sir, I got faith in him. Is it wishful thinking, or do you have faith in him? Or do you have faith in that line? I'll tell you this, you guys have done one thing for me. Numerous things, but when it comes to the Eagles, you got me buying this O-line. You got me buying the O-line. Man, I'm telling you, you got an O-line, you can be in any game. If the Cowboys had a better offensive line, that's crazy, isn't it? Because everybody keeps telling me how great and all the assets that the Jones family has put into when it comes to investing in the Cowboys. The offensive line, where are all these big first-round draft choices? I know Zach Martin's not going to be playing tonight, but if you're not going to be a better line, then you're going to be in trouble. And let's not forget on the other side of the ball, the Bucs were number 1 against the rush last year. Okay? Dev knows. He just said it. The trenches is where it's won. Dev, do we not agree? How about this? Let's put this out there. The Eagles Super Bowl champion team, was that the best offensive defensive line combinations? That includes the Reggie White teams. Was that team the best combination in the Super Bowl era? With Reggie and my boy Jerome. That Super Bowl team, was it the best combination offense and defensive lines that the Eagles have had in the Super Bowl era? I say by far. I say by far. You didn't really need a superstar quarterback. You got a superstar quarterback performance in the game that mattered. Okay? He outplayed Brady in that game. I mean, this guy was so awesome in that game, Nick Foles. They're throwing Philly specials at you. Jay, think of that. That team that the Eagles had that won the Super Bowl. And, hey, Dev, right, the rotations. Eric says it wasn't. Well, Eric, what'd you win with that Eagle team? Statistic championship trophies don't count. I know Gang Green was number 1 against the run, number 1 against the pass, and number 1 in total defense. And you got whacked in the Fog Bowl. I mean, come on now. No, it wasn't the best combination. It's all right. Yeah, Muhammad, think about that for a minute. Team a couple years ago had the best combo. The best combo. Didn't matter who was playing quarterback. If the Eagles are able to develop that this year, they'll win the East. Personally, I think Washington has the best combo right now. I think they're stronger on the defensive side, whereas I think the Eagles are stronger on the offensive side. But those are your two best groups. I remember that Fog Bowl game. Yeah, right? If I'm not mistaken, Jay, wasn't that the defense that had the number 1 rating and everything? Where that 88 Eagle team had the number 1 defense, total D, rush D, and pass D, turnover differential too? I think that 88 Eagle defense won like the Triple Crown, and they still got beat. Hey Ken, Jerome told me, man, he couldn't see the dude in front of him. He said he barely could see like Jimbo Colvert in front of him. I agree with the offense, but D didn't hold up. Shane, do you say that O-line and the deadlines are so important? O-line and the D-lines are so important, and I agree. But if it wasn't for a botched touchdown catch by Julio, we wouldn't be there as champion. Shane, that's not on you. That's on them. That's kind of a botch, this and that. That's not on me. You got to play 60 minutes of football. You miss an extra point. How about Tony Romo against Seattle, and they score, and he fumbles the extra point kick? So do you use that as an excuse why Seattle won? I don't. You got to execute all the time, man. That's why every inch, every yard matters in games. Every play matters, especially when you're talking postseason football. Des says, I think our D-line will change your mind. Oh, Dev, I'm not saying they're bad. You guys were second or third last year in sacks. I'm not saying that at all. Okay? But I think Washington's got a better front four. How about this, Dev? They better have a better front four. They've invested all those first rounders in those guys like Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. Krause's Alabama. Makes me sick to say that name now, after especially what happened last year. You could talk about this, but yeah, I get you. If Atlanta didn't give up a lead, they would have won this. Hey, Muhammad, right on. They had a 28-point lead, right? Did you see the Atlanta Constitution too? They had a headline. It was 28-0, and they were like calling the Falcons champs. And Brady comes back and wins that game. What an absolutely in-your-face deal. So classic. Green Bay last year in the playoffs. Yeah. Smile has it here. So get this. Well, maybe if the Buccaneers, didn't get that touchdown going into the half and a coaching decision on taking the MVP out and putting in the field goal kicker. Think about what you did last year if you're Matt LaFleur. Okay? Tell me if you're in that Packer locker room, you're feeling good about your coach's decision. Watch this. Let's take the MVP off the field and put a kicker on the field. Be like, I don't know about that one. Come on, coach. I don't know if he's smiling down because he hated that fog bowl. I don't know. I don't know about that one because he was damn pissed that the Eagles lost that game in Chicago. He was so pissed. Yeah, oh no, man. I mean, I've seen JB pissed before, but no, man. That was one of those moments where you didn't bring up the fog bowl to him. Yeah, he was more. That was nothing to bring up to him. What's the score tonight, Jay? I got 38-10. I think I don't think the Cowboys really have a chance tonight. I just don't. I mean, show me where they have the advantage. And you know what? I'd be glad to hit on it. What's the advantage? Muhammad says, I hear you, but Rodgers had the opportunity before that with Brady's picks. Brady had picks in that championship game? Did he? Does the Cowboy D lose it for them? Or here's what's going to lose it for them tonight, Dev. Watch this. And Eagle fans will understand this. Watch this. Here's what's going to happen tonight with the Cowboys. Oh, he had back-to-back picks? I forgot that. Check it out. You guys saw Wentz do this, didn't you? Watch. 1, 2, 3 out. 1, 2, 3 out. 1, 2, 3 out. You start getting those 3 and outs like that. Like if you see 2, 3 and outs, Bucks will be up 10-0 on them. You're going to see a lot of 3 and outs tonight. You're going against the number 1 rush defense in the NFL. Am I really to believe all of a sudden Zeke Elliott's going to turn himself into Emmitt Smith? He hasn't looked like Emmitt Smith in 3 years, ever since he got his bag of money. Muhammad's right. Muhammad, you ready? It's actually since October 11th of 2020 that he hasn't played in a meaningful football game. Ken says Bucks 33-28. Wow. You think this thing's close? Shoulders sore. I'm kind of with you on this. Yeah, Dev, you saw a lot of that because 3 and out. Man, that is the worst thing in the world to try to keep a young quarterback and getting him into the flow of a game. That's why when I say with Jalen on Sunday against the Falcons, man, hey, watch this. I don't mind 3 and outs. If we're going 3 and out running the ball, you can't go 3 and outs and it's 3rd and 9 and you've given up already on the first possession, 9 yards in field position to the other team. you got to remember something about field position. Okay? Here, let me show you how it works and how a defensive coordinator will write this stuff down, and really the quality control guy will do this. Watch okay. What I just said to you, 3rd and 9, you don't get it. And this is Cowboys. Say the Cowboys have the first series. Okay, you've just given 9 yards in field position to the Bucs before they touch the ball. So you're pretty much starting you're kicking the ball on the 21. On the other side, when you punt it to them, they're going to field it around the 40, 35-yard line, correct? They're going to take it 15 yards, that's 13 yards, that's the average. You're talking almost in field position already. You're talking getting the ball around the 40, okay? You're telling me Brady can't go 35 yards for a field goal? You put yourself in a position there. Now, if the Cowboys come out and they get a 3 and out, that's when it's negated, okay? And say they're in 3 and 9, then the game's even. You're all looking at it like that. But if you start pushing the ball and you're starting to cross the mid-stripe and you're seeing the Bucs playing on the other side of the field, that means you're seeing a lot of 3 and outs. That's what Jalen can't do against the Falcons. See, if it's 3rd and 1 and you miss it, it's okay. Punt the ball away. Play with your great defense. Okay? I think Atlanta could play offensively. It's going to be interesting for me to see how they move Kyle Pitts around. Because, again, you're not going to put him on any of the defensive ends that the Eagles have because I don't think he's a physical player. He wasn't physical of a player when he was in the SEC. I know that's hard to say and hard for some people to swallow, but he wasn't a physical player there. Dan, give me Brady stats tonight. 300th game. Is this his 300th game tonight? I think counting the postseason, it's like 320-something with the it's funny you should say that. Muhammad goes, give me the stats for Brady tonight. Let me write these down. Okay. Here's the stats. I think Brady's 20 at 28 for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns. They're going to run the ball. Why wouldn't you? The Cowboys' defense last year was a sieve. See, what people think is Brady's going to go and throw for 370. He might. But why would you not attack the biggest weakness the Cowboys have defensively? That's their run defense. I mean, I told you guys on Monday, about Mike Canes getting run over by Alabama. That goes back to the Carolina game of last year when 2 guys had 250 yards in the game. When you get your face kicked in like that, you think you forget that? Because there's a new coordinator or a new scheme or somebody draws something up on a chalkboard. Oh, yeah, now it's fixed. How is Dan Quinn going to go? Is Dan Quinn going out there and playing? Did they get a boatload new personnel? I know they got the kid from Penn State, but he's one dude. Where in the world do you see that they've upgraded defensively? And I think what's happened here with the Cowboys, I think everybody has been snow jobbed because Dak got a $42 million contract. How is that helping your team on the other side of the ball? Or the limited O-lineman you have now because of depth issues. And now that you're paying the quarterback, who goes? Someone's got to go eventually because either that or he's got to continually restructure his contract. And is Dak going to do that after this whole last 2 years of going around and round with the Joneses? I mean, really? Muhammad says Dan Quinn will remember Brady from the Super Bowl and crap his pants. Hey, man, Dan Quinn's the same guy, right? So Smile says Dallas signed Malik Hooker, but I don't think he's starting. Okay, well, they got great depth, I guess, or some depth. Yeah, man, I don't see it. Yeah, Brady doesn't have to throw for 350 yards. Not when you have Leonard Fournette and a really good offensive line, and you got a defense that's going to win field position tonight. How about this? I say this to you. I'd be shocked tonight if the Cowboys have 65 plays. I think the Bucs are going to run the football all night. Once they get a lead and they get a 3-touchdown lead, they're going to run it the rest of the night. Why should Brady take chances on dropping back? For what? And also, so that the next team next week can scheme them? Why would I do that? I would do the same thing Alabama did to Miami. I would get into a simple sets once I got a 3-touchdown lead, and I would just keep running the ball, and I'd be running the ball. Kevin's bringing a Jordan factor in. Brady will do whatever he needs to win the game. He won't worry about his stats. That's correct. He never has. Guys, can you help me out on something? What did he throw in the Super Bowl? Did Brady throw for 200 yards in the Super Bowl? Or was it just a touch over 200? I don't even remember if he threw for 200 yards in that game. And personally, I thought the defense should have been named most valuable player in that game. I don't even remember if he threw. I don't remember if he threw for over 200 yards in that ball game. I don't remember. I don't. You know, I said this to you in the first hour about Brady. I'll get to that here in a minute. Builder of faith, the $34 million gamble tells the tale. Now the team is in a rebound. Over 500 against the Eagles in the Super Bowl and lost. That's why I tell you, Stevie, the passing statistic is the most overrated stat in pro football history. The rushing stat never lies to you. You run the ball for 250. How many times have you ever seen a team lose a game when you run the ball for 250 yards? Name me games where you've seen that. There are a handful of the losses, but we see this all the time. Look at the top-rated, not even the top-rated passers, the passers with the most passing yards last year. Well, take a look at some of those guys with all the big numbers and see where they finished in the postseason. Guys that run the ball, those are like the Titans will always be in football games because they run the rock. All right, we're going to take a brief timeout. Line your questions up. I love what we're doing here today. It's a great night. NFL is here. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Hey, Eagles fans, if you're a subscriber to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, you are already registered to win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming season. That's right, you could win a pair of season tickets for the upcoming 2021 season just for being a subscriber. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, do it now. Subscribe to the JAKIB Media YouTube channel right now. What do you need to do? Subscribe right now.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. Dan Sileo. Some people, man. Hey, message here for T.O. Why don't you take the rest of the day off? Take a few plays off. You'll be all right. You can always tell when there's not a lot of response, on my side of the aisle, because you know why? There's like 2 or 3 on his, because everyone knows I'm right. He is a tool. Anyway, you got to check it out over at Dan Sileo Show. It's really funny, man. Anyway, Omar has come to the table. Thank you, Omar. Any opinions on the Ravens backfield now after all the injuries? You think they go after Todd Gurley now? Isn't it crazy Todd Gurley's out of work? Todd Gurley doesn't have a job right now. And he's been going around, and this is a guy, what was it, 4 years ago? He signed that gigantic extension with the Rams. I mean, right? I mean, what the hell happened to Todd Gurley? I mean, this guy came into the league. He was really the cat. I'll tell you what, if you really want to go and you want to take a look at really Jared Goff's demise there in Los Angeles, his demise was because Gurley kept going backwards. And the worse Gurley got, the worse he got. I mean, no, Muhammad, Gurley's knees went soft because he couldn't carry that bag of money around on his back. That's what happened. He tripped over his wallet on the way to the bank. And, he blew a knee out when he was carrying that bag of money. Yeah, that's what ended up happening to him. Dude, Todd Gurley, man, really. Kevin Safari says 201 yards in a game. Dude, do me a favor. This weekend, when you see the stats, any team that rushes the ball for 200 yards, they're going to win the ball game. You think Cleveland's going to let Baker Mayfield throw the ball around the yard? It's funny. Of all the – hey, I'm going to make a prediction to you here. No, should I do it? Hey, Eagle guy, how'd you like to have Odell Beckham on your team? What would you want Odell on the other side of Devontae Smith? Oh, that was Brady's passing yards. Okay. I think he's going to be right around there. I think you're right, Kev. Would you guys like to have Odell Beckham on your team? Muhammad says no. Muhammad, Odell Beckham and Devontae Smith. Because Odell Beckham doesn't fit in Cleveland. You've already got Jarvis Landry on one side of the ball. You don't need 2 prolific wideouts, especially when you've got 2,000-yard rushers in the backfield and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You don't need that guy out there. And plus, he's been a bomb in Cleveland. This guy needs to go to a high-powered offense. Then again, I don't know if the Eagles are going to be a high-powered offense. I don't know how many times they are going to chuck it down the field. And Odell Beckham's not a possession wideout. See, that you know the kind of wideouts, I know everybody's all in love with Devontae Smith. You know the kind of wideout really that the Eagles need? They need possession guys. Because he's not going to sit back there and have the ability yet to be able to read defenses right away. I mean, that's the one thing Brian Baldinger, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Baldinger said he was up at the Jets scrimmage. And the first thing he noticed was that he took off too many times and he took off too soon. He can't do that in games. So you're not going to have a guy. Jalen's not going to be a guy that's going to sit back 38 times and he's going to be able to dissect a defense. Brotherly love, appreciate you coming in. Again, no trashing. Not trashing, pointing out. That's all I'm doing here, pointing out. So, yeah, tonight, Brady's around 20, 28, 243, 3 touchdowns. They'll smash the Cowboys into pieces tonight. I mean, hey, tomorrow I could be completely wrong. By the way, my boy knows this, Trevor. We have a thing called Big Sills Picks. We'll be picking all the games with the point spreads tomorrow. So Big Sills Picks. Want to make some money? We'll hook you up. Big Sills Picks. We'll do that somewhere in hour number 2. Okay? And we'll use point spreads, over and unders too, for you guys to be able to and we'll look at teams straight up. Now, you know the point differential in a football game, NFL-wise, is between 3.5 and 5 points. So if you see, like, I think tonight's game, if I'm not mistaken, is tonight game 7.5? What's the spread tonight? Does anyone know what the spread is tonight? It's got to be 7.5. Carrie Underwood singing NBC football song tonight. Is she? Carrie Underwood. Is that one of the Idol chicks? I don't know. Thanks a lot, Muhammad. Appreciate it, brother. Oh, it should be great tonight. 8.5. Oh, yeah. Hey, no. Cowboys are going to be, there'll be a lot of tears tonight. There'll be a lot of tears tonight. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. My top rookie. Who's going to be your top rookie quarterback this year? And again, this makes my stomach. This makes my stomach crawl because this means that Krause gets more Alabama talk. There, I buried the lead. I do think Mac Jones is going to be your NFL Rookie of the Year. I do. I think that Patriots team's going to win 11 games. Oh, yeah. Hey, Dev, 8.5 points. I think it's easy money, too. It's in Tampa. You don't think they'll beat them by 10? I mean, how about this? Minimum 10? You don't think they really beat them? Oh, I do. I think they smashed them. I mean, unless there's something that goes sideways. Dev, I just think this kid Jones with the Patriots is going to be a special guy. And you know what's crazy? You know what his upside is? You know what people keep saying? Well, look at, Trey Lance's upside in San Francisco, or look at Justin Fields' upside. What do you think Mac Jones' top upside is? What do you think his upside is? Being able to read defenses better and better and better. What do you think Brady's top asset was? Brady got smarter and smarter and smarter and developed his arm. Brady brought his arm along, but his knowledge of the game was something that became instilled in his practices on how he studied the game. That's right, Kevin. Okay? Game tape, watching tendencies, trends. That's how you become a better player. The knowledge of the game is the most important part of the game. You know, there's a couple things that I tell young players all the time. Don't ever follow the ball when you're a defensive football player because it'll take you away from the play. if you follow the keys in front of you, it'll always take you to the ball. So like anytime people, they cheat and they look up and they look for the ball, it'll always take you away from the game and always take you away from the play. But the guy in front of you is blocking you for a particular reason, for a reason. That's to either try to fool you, block you, be part of a scheme to try to get up on the linebacker. That's why they have splits, tight splits, big splits, sitting back, leaning forward, pass probe, going from a 3-point. You read all of that. And that's what Belichick's biggest asset is because he studies all these tendencies and what people do. And when you can micro it down to that little bit, that's where watch this. Let me give you a for instance here. And this is what I say about, is Jalen going to get the proper coaching in Philadelphia that, say, Josh Allen got in Buffalo from Sean McDermott? People are always doing this. Why do you guys think that Josh Allen has improved so much as a passer? Let's take a look at his history. That's what people don't do enough of. Okay, follow me here. How much coaching do you really think he got when he was at this small college in Wyoming? The head football coach has an under 500 record. How much really, truly great coaching do you think he got at Wyoming? Very little. He came from a small high school, too. So would it be fair? The best coaching that Josh Allen has been in Buffalo. And am I right? Do you not follow what I'm saying here? Is that here's one for you too. So Ryan Tannehill's in Miami, and he's got Joe Philbin, and he's got these other cast of nobody coaches down there. He goes to a place in Tennessee with Mike Vrabel and all those great coaches up there, and voila, he signs a $29 million per year deal as a quarterback in Tennessee. What could possibly be the difference? Culture, coaching, 2 C's. The culture, it's completely in the NFL coaching. Look, every guy that comes into the league, it's always great. Watch it. This guy can really play. Duh, you're in the NFL. Tell me something I don't know. Tell me something I don't know. It's so vital that you have great coaching in that room. That's why when I say this about Trevor Lawrence, do I really think that Urban Meyer's picked the right coaching staff? You know what's going to be potentially the undoing of Urban Meyer in Jacksonville? Did he hire the right guys? How many times have we seen that coordinator leaves, goes somewhere, all of a sudden it's not the same group? Hell, Philadelphia proved that out. Frank Reich leaves, the entire house of cards fell, didn't it? Everything. Sportsman 22 says Sean McDermott came from Philly. Man, he is such a great coach. Philly, he's a great coach. I think one of the more underrated coaches in the NFL, too. I really do. I think I just think he's underrated. Okay, let me recap here. Tonight, I don't think it's close. I think it's 38-10. I think Brady goes for 20 of 28 for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of numbers Dak Prescott. Would it shock me if Dak Prescott throws for 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks, and they still get killed? Hey, it's easy to put a lot of stats up, folks, when you're throwing from behind. How many guys have we always seen in the league? They got big numbers at the end of the year, and you look up and you're like, how are they 6-10? Look at Deshaun Watson last year. Deshaun Watson had one of the better quarterback seasons last year. I think his football team won 4 games last year, didn't they? Even though he threw for like a touch under, like, what was that? I mean, he threw for big yards, like a little bit under 5,000 yards or something like that, right? So, I mean, yeah, hey, by the way, please do me a favor. Go over to my Twitter page, okay, and take a look at it. T.O., I mean, really, every Hall of Famer now is calling him out. And Hall of Fame voter is. It's kind of sad for him. It really is, man. Hey, I'm just so happy football's back. We got content. It's great. Tomorrow we're going to have Big Sills picks. We'll break down all the games, especially Eagles, Falcons. We'll do that. Buccaneers tonight again, 38-10. Brady's a star, but I think the defense is really going to show up tonight too with Todd Bowles' group against Dak Prescott's guys. So, hey, I want to thank Krause. I want to thank Big Joe. Thank you so much, Cal. Cal, that TikTok was spectacular. You guys got to check it out. I've got it posted over on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. If you missed any of the show, go over to the JAKIB Media channel. National Football Show is right there for you. Until tomorrow, enjoy the game tonight, 4 to 6 Eastern. We'll catch you on the flip side.